as I say, my name's Livingston, and I organize drug user groups, and I'm still doing that. So to talk about Insite was a perfect storm of people running the Portland Hotel Society who had guts, who would do all of the application forms. Our forming of Vandu is based on Bud Osborne being able to charm the pants off of anyone, or maybe not the pants off of him, but I drove him to 100 churches at least, maybe more, and he talked to people about the caring and the way he was able to write his poetry, really hit people so much in the heart that when we would talk about things that are for the head, how many people are dying, are these preventable, what the research says. So we had this tremendous magical, now that I'm trying to organize in the 911 Surrey, I realize it really was magical. The researchers came, the bureaucrats who had some balls at least could sort of stand aside and just sort of let a little bit go by and then a little more go by. And as we set up one after another of these illegal injection sites, we were able to sort of defend our funding. Because the funding that went to Vandu was extremely small, and I'm sure they regretted the day they ever gave it to us, because when they tried to take it away, we had already done so much work, and we had Bud on our side, so we had already won the hearts of so many people that they couldn't take our funding, and they tried. So, I don't know, the other thing that's so interesting about people saying, well, what are you going to say about Insite? We fought with Insite. We fought with Mark and Liz, not necessarily all the time, but they had to deal with all this bureaucracy bullshit in Ottawa and keeping the funding and getting the doors open and making sure that the building met whatever standards they were going to shove down their throats. And we were pushing and pushing and pushing. So one of my stories is the day that Insite opened, we found out that there was no peer workers hired. And I had not even thought of a strategy that Mark may have already have thought of. So we said, we're picketing Insite on the first day. And magically funding came, and they hired peer workers. And I kept thinking about it later. It was Mark's way of getting more funding. Sorry. So anyway, I just wanted to, it's not always that. I think that when people in community get shit done, they need to make allowances for these arguments and difficulties and fights, because they're very, very important. If somebody is working in an agency that's really dependent on their funding, they have 400, workers that they've hired, they can't abandon them and go, oh yeah, well, this is a hill we're gonna die on, fuck you, and lose all their housing, lose all their contracts. So, it's just still to have that kind of hand signaling that can go on between bureaucrats and agencies that, just keep doing that, you guys. And then all the sort of limitations about the drug user group can do stuff that no one else can do, which is sort of just open a bunch of illegal injection sites, not all at once. And I make that sound easy, it's not. But anyway, I just want to thank you for coming today, and I want to thank Insite. Just have to say this. There are so many shitty OPSs now in this province, because I'm out there and I talk to the users, and we need to have a cadre of people that understand how to provide services to people and really care about them. They don't go after the contract because of the amount of the contract, and it's lucrative for them. Believe me, it's lucrative for them compared to running a user group, just saying. But what happens is, then they want to follow the rules and they won't adapt to the latest poison or some vicious cop or some serial killer that's killing the women, and they won't adapt. And our frustration as drug user groups is that we're always seen as combative and harassing them, and the government has stopped listening to us. So I just want to thank anyone who is in that bureaucracy for not disfunding Vandu and holding the line, and all of the researchers who just kept doing study after study and getting the evidence out there. It was a real team effort. So thanks everybody. Thank you.